loves, welcome back to my channel. I'm Jess from BehatiLife. Thank you so much for tuning in. Today we're going to be talking about 7 ways that you can unlock goddess energy within your life and feel like a goddess every day. Now, even though I'm talking about goddess energy, this isn't exclusively pertaining to females only. This covers masculine persons as well as feminine persons, whether you be male, female, or whatever you identify as. So this relates to everyone. That being said, I want to go ahead and dive in, so make sure that you have your pen, your paper, you're writing notes. That way you can activate that goddess vibes throughout the entirety of your week and the weeks to come. Now, the first thing that it is that I wanted to mention is to have a specific self-care routine. Now, when you have a routine or a ritual that you use to take care of yourself, essentially what it is that you're saying to yourself and to your inner goddess energy is that you are worthy. Just like we give rituals to our ancestors and we give rituals to angels or our guides or to a higher spirit, meaning like God or the divine, whatever it is that you want to call it, that's essentially what it is that you're giving to yourself, that divine energy within you that is absolutely 100% connected to the divine cosmic energy that rules all. So I personally, and I know this sounds superficial, but this is just my way of taking care of my mind, body, soul, and spirit inside and internally and internally. So externally, I make sure that I have a self-care routine, which for me includes my skincare, taking care of my hair, and then also for me doing my makeup, and then also removing my makeup at the end of the day. Every single day I have the same process of taking care of my skin and taking care of my hair, no matter what's going on with, you know, my routine. This is something that I do not neglect, just like I wouldn't neglect my ritual for my guides, my ancestors, or any of the gods or goddesses that I would be working with. Everyone is totally different, so find what works best for you, but essentially what it is something that makes you feel amazing, something that is caring for your well-being. For some people, that means that they do yoga every Wednesday and every Saturday. Now, make sure that this self-care ritual, that this goddess ritual that you do every day, its sole purpose is to care and tend for you. Just for the sake of pleasure and to remember how divine you are. So if you, when I use the example of making a meal, for some people, cooking and paying attention to the ingredients that they use and the pleasure, you know, that they feel when it's in their mouth and then they're eating it and how they feel afterwards, it's not a chore, the cooking, it's what makes them feel good. So that's why I use that as an example, but everyone is totally different. Make sure that whatever is a part of your self-care routine and ritual is something that is there exclusively for the sake of giving pleasure to you and caring and tending to you, and that's different for everyone. The next thing that you can do in order to unlock and to tap into goddess energy is actually to create and to be creative in the way that is authentic to you. Now again, this is something that is totally different for everyone, but goddess energy in general is known for creation, whatever it is that that goddess is creating, and you'll see that across the board when you're working with any of the goddesses. There's always something that it is that they're creating, whether it be a storm, a flood, love, destruction, transformation, it doesn't matter. There's something that is being created in some way that is specific and unique to them. So that is one thing that I see, is that allow yourself to have create a creative outlet of some sort. And again, that's going to be different for everyone. It doesn't necessarily mean that you have to paint. It doesn't mean that you have to mosaic. You could do something as simple as fashion design. You could do, well, that's not simple, but you could do something like fashion design. You could be creating classes, content, poetry. There's so many, the sky is the limit, but everyone has a unique way that they are creating something in this world that is a lasting imprint. And also, the more that you allow yourself to step into a space where you're freely and messily, that's probably not the right word, that's probably not even a word, but when you allow yourself to be imperfect, or not perfect and messy in your creation, you are essentially saying that, you know, there's no restraint on your creativity. There's nothing that holds you back from expressing the way that you feel, and also leaving gifts into this world. And that is so key. That is utmost in working with goddess energy, is this ability to leave something lasting, to put out into the world something that only you can do the way that you do it. Next thing that I want to talk about is making time for people and things that you truly love and that give to you, and that includes making time for you. So when I say making time for things and people that you love, make sure that you are someone that you love. So you, not only are you spending time with others that fuel your spirit and help you to feel confident and good and vibrant and bring joy into your life and laughter, and also an avenue, an outlet to talk to and to communicate your feelings with. Though having those aspects, that core value around you, is going to help you not only feel supported, but it's going to help you to connect with others and to feel good at the end of the day. That being said, you also need to take some time out for yourself exclusively to do the things that it is that you love and like to do. For some people, that could be something like going for a bike ride. Others, it could be gardening. For others, it could be taking long, luxurious cat naps in the sun after eating big bowls of fruit. So it's totally different. Again, every goddess is 100% unique and authentic to herself, especially the internal goddess, divine goddess energy within you. So make sure that you're taking time out for yourself and disconnecting from the chaos of the external world. This is going to remind you again that your time and your energy and your pleasure is important, and that you yourself are totally valuable. The fourth thing that I wrote down that came to me while I was thinking about goddess energy is a little bit more of the external and the superficial, and that is to adorn yourself daily in the things that make you feel like a goddess. Now, when I say goddess energy, sometimes a lot of people equate dressing and adorning themselves in a goddess style as sexy, and that is truly not the case for everyone. Feeling and dressing like a goddess does not always connect to the feeling of sexiness. Now, but sometimes they do connect, but every goddess is different. And then there are days where you as a goddess are going to feel like you want to be more reserved and more refined, or more demure, I guess. And there's other days where you're going to want to unleash sexier, wilder sides, a little bit more risky and frisky and flirty. The sky is the limit, and you as a goddess are constantly changing, especially as you go through cycles within your life. So it's very important that you honor and adorn yourself in the way that makes you feel most comfortable. Again, like I said before, there are some things that, you know, what could work one day to make you feel like completely like a goddess, the next day is something that would make you feel uncomfortable, or it just doesn't portray where you're at this stage in your life, and that's totally okay. Respect and honor where you're at right now. Another thing that you'll see as an example is that there are different types of goddesses that are in existence in our element, in our energy field. So there are goddesses that are more connected to fire energy and express themselves in ways that are a bit bolder, and then there's some that are connected to earth energy and express themselves in ways that are a little bit more subtle. But just because they're different ways of expressing themselves, one isn't better than the other. One's energy isn't diminished and one's energy isn't increased. They just are a different revealing of energy of energy expressed in a different way, or traits expressed in a different way, and you'll see that within yourself. And you'll also see me mentioning that as we move on in this video, how unique you are and how unique your own goddess energy wants to express herself, and how you should honor that, and how sometimes that actually changes. The next thing that I want to talk about, and I believe this is number 5 or number 6, I'll check in a second, is to honor your feelings and your vibes. Now, your feelings have a responsibility for telling you every single day, every single moment of what is going on internally within you on an emotional level and also on a physical level. So it's very important that we honor and we respect and we listen and look out for what we're feeling, what we're thinking, in order to get to gauge where we're at and what our needs are. Goddesses and goddess energy in general is very, for the most part, very in tune. You'll see most goddesses in general are very in tune with their needs and what a lot of what it is that they represent. So they're very in tune to listening to their vibes and their feelings and then working very quickly to honor them. And that's what you should, or at least try and strive to do as you're working with goddess energy within you. Now, all feelings need to be valid. All feelings need to be considered, including anger, disappointment, guilt, frustration, loneliness, happiness, giddiness. All of them serve a really strong purpose, whether you believe them to be negative or positive. Your feelings are never wrong. So listen to them and look out for them in order to adjust accordingly to what it is that you need. Also, if you're feeling sad or angry or disappointed or frustrated, allow yourself to feel those feelings. In today's society, in today's world, we're only just now learning as a whole that it is okay for you not to be happy all the time and giddy and joyful and positive and optimistic. We're human beings, we're constantly changing. So our society is learning that to feel a negative emotion does not necessarily mean that it's a negative thing. It's just your body telling you that there's a need or there's something that is happening here, and then for that, you want to honor it. Let's say your energy is low as a goddess. Don't feel bad because you are not thriving and because you're not doing the most. When your energy is low, allow yourself to sit back and to receive and to rest until your energy is high again. Do the things that it is that you need to do in order to take care of yourself. For some people, that can be as extreme, and I don't want to use the word extreme, but that could be the next level of maybe asking for help. And that could be going to a counselor and arranging for a medical professional to talk to you and to connect with you in order to help you to better yourself. Or maybe you have to go back to, I think it was 3 or 4, goddess step 3 or 4 of finding people around you who help you to feel good about yourself and asking them for help. So for example, for me, if I'm having off days where I'm feeling alone or I'm feeling frustrated or emotional, I know that I have a core group that I can call and I can tell them everything, and that we can pray together, we can work together, and then at the end of our conversation, I feel like Jess again, and I can go back into the world feeling confident. At the same time, there are moments when talking with someone else is not something that's going to help me, but I need to take time for myself and just completely disconnect from the world. And that could be anything from 30 minutes to 2 days to maybe a whole month of me completely disconnecting and going into my cave and hiding out for a minute. But at the end of the day, what it was that I've done is that I've honored my feelings and I respected them, and I valued them enough to take care of them and to make them important in order to make sure that no matter where I'm at in my life or what stage I'm at, that who and what I'm feeling and what I'm going through is important and valued, and that are things that help me to feel like a goddess, and it takes care of my goddess energy and keeps me thriving and abundantly filled, and I want that the same for you. Number 6 is something that I feel to the core of my heart, and that is to feed yourself. And that means physically actually feeding yourself with nourishing food that your body wants. Now, I'm not saying that you honor and indulge in every single craving that it is that you have, but there does have to be balance. So you want to make sure that you're nourishing your body with hydration, water, tea, that you're eating fruits and vegetables, that you're having a good amount of protein, whether that be animal protein or plant protein, just making sure that your body is being nourished and taken care of. Because if you are physically weak, if you are physically not strong, if you're physically deficient, then it impacts everything. Everything is connected. Everything. You hear me say this all the time when I'm doing astrology, our weekly astrology reports. Everything is connected. There is nothing that is not connected, including you and I. That's probably why we're here. That's probably how it is that you found me and I found you, is because we're connected. So that includes the care of and the upkeep of your physical body, including your mental health, your spiritual health, your emotional health. All of these things are connected, and if one of them is off, then it's going to impact at some point, sooner rather than later, most times, the rest of them. So if your physical body is not strong, then everything else will be impacted. If you are not taking care of your physical body, mentally you will become foggy. If mentally you're foggy, it's going to impact the decisions that it is that you make in your life. It's going to impact your magic. It's going to impact your intention. It's going to cloud up the entire area of your life. Why? Simply because you had too much coffee this week, or you are have a deficiency in some way, shape, or form, or you're dehydrated, or you're not giving yourself time to sleep and to rest, so your body is fogged up. Just make sure that you are feeding yourself. Now, when I say feed yourself, I don't only exclusively mean food. I mean that you're feeding yourself with people and things and an environment. There's a glass vase of flowers right here, and I don't want to knock that over, and I almost did. But yeah, making sure that you're feeding even your environment with things that make you feel like a goddess. Now, I get comments all the time about my home and about my apothecary, and that it's beautiful, and thank you so much for saying that, you guys. That really does mean a lot to me. But the reason why I take time out for you know, to adorn my home as well as myself is because I feel as though I am worthy to stay in an environment that feels good and is aesthetically pleasing and nourishing to my spirit. And we, in today's time, sometimes we kind of see this imbalance where there's people who feel guilty for wanting a beautiful environment and decorating their home, or maybe there's other things that they have to prioritize, which is totally fine, but they don't want to prioritize taking care of their home environment. But then when they come home, they don't feel at home. They don't feel like a queen. They don't feel like a king. They feel like they're just in this like box. There's ways of free ways to decorate your home without having to put money into it. Without having to put down a whole chunk of change. Number one, you could go to thrift stores, and number two, you could go to parks, you could go to gardens, you could have a garden, or keep your eyes open for things that aesthetically pull you. In Philadelphia, there are days where people actually take out items from their home environment and they put it on the curb, and it's free for everyone. And we all just walk around, and if we see it, we pick it up, and if it's beautiful and stunning, you would be so surprised the things that it is that I have found. This huge picture frame that is downstairs in my apothecary right now as we speak is something that must have been over $200, and I actually found it while I was walking my dog. So, and it's a stunning piece. I paid nothing for it. All I had to do was pick it up and carry it. So the universe will provide for you in your environment, and make sure that at the end of the day that you are comfortable and that you are well taken care of. Another thing that it is that I do to decorate my home is to keep an eye out while I'm walking my dog usually, and to keep an eye out for flowers that have fallen from the park, and I pick them up, the ones that stand out to me, and I bring them to my altar, and I adorn my altar, and I adorn my space. So simple things like that help my space to constantly feel like it's thriving and growing, and it also invites more energy into my life. So don't feel guilty for wanting a beautiful space. On the flip side of that, because remember I was just talking about balance, there's those who they allow themselves to stay in a position of lack, and they don't value or want to prioritize their home for whatever reason. It makes them feel guilty if they are taking that time out to make their home feel pretty or aesthetically pleasing, which is very important to your root chakra and also your sacral chakra, to take care of your security and your sense of well-being, and to make sure that you feel comfortable in your home environment. But then we have the opposite side of that with people who the image that kind of comes through to me is like MTV Cribs, when everyone was just like going overboard and being very ostentatious and flashy and in your face with the things that it is that they had, but they didn't actually feel comfortable in their home environment. It was more more for show. So at the end of the day, make sure that you are feeding not only yourself with the things internally that are going to help you to feel good, but also externally around you with things that make you feel like you are right where you belong. And for some people, maybe it's not an entire home. Sometimes it's just a space, like a bedroom that you can decorate as you want and as you will. For others, it's an external spot, so somewhere outside that they can go to. You guys know that for a brief moment in my life, a period, I was living outside, and that was my sacred space, and nature adorned herself the way that she does, and it was beautiful, and I felt at home in that moment. However, at this point in my life, I would not do it again. But it served its purpose then. So make sure that you're feeding yourself, including, well, feeding yourself with food internally, but also in your environment. And the people that are around you, are they positive? Do they make you feel good? Or do they deplete your energy and make you feel weak? If they are depleting your energy and making you feel weak, then you as a goddess need to remove yourself from the situation and put a boundary and say, no, I am not going to meet up with you, or I'm not going to do this, I'm not going to accept this, I'm not going to let you talk to me this way, I'm not going to listen to this bullshit, and then be out. Lastly is my most controversial one. That's why I'm saving it for the very end, and that is to fuck shit up. Yes, you guys, you heard me. I said fuck shit up. As a goddess, yes, you need to up. For real. Why? Well, because when we hear goddess energy and when we talk about goddess vibes, our first thought is to think about passive and receiving energy and all about being like soft and not wanting to ruffle any feathers. Well, I have news for you. Not every single goddess is going to be this passive little wallflower. Now, there are those that are, even myself included, but there are goddesses out there in existence. For example, Kali Ma is a great example, and even Oshun has had moments where she has freaked the hell out and been angry and has expressed that anger. But Kali Ma is one of my favorite goddesses that is amazing with channeling her rage and expressing her anger and her frustration in a way that lashes out and pushes out and fucks shit up. So if these goddesses, if they are in existence, you better believe that that same rage is found within you. Now, I'm not saying that you go out and you destroy things for the sake of destroying them, but again, I need everyone to know that a goddess exclusively, even the spiritual workers, or spiritual people who are on YouTube and talking about goddess energy, the one thing that the majority of them neglect to mention is the fact that there is a need within the goddess energy, within the goddess element, working with goddess vibes in general, that is angry, that is expressive, that can destroy. Just as a goddess can create, she can also destroy. Just like she can birth, she can also kill. We've heard our parents, our mother, most of us have heard our parents have said to us, I brought you into this world and I will take you out. That is a goddess, your mother, who knows what it is that she's talking about. So the same thing is similar to and resonates with us and should resonate with you. Well, I'm hoping would resonate with you, because if it doesn't, then I'm concerned that you're not able to express your anger in a way that is constructive, when it's very important that all aspects inside of yourself are valued and heard and expressed as in a healthy, constructive way. So that being said, if you have moments which are going to happen because you're human, where you have anger, where you have frustration, where you're pissed off, that is just as sacred as the moments where you are in a meditative state, where you're in a state of joy and pleasure. It's just as important as those more pleasurable things that we like to talk about. So just because it makes us uncomfortable to talk about it doesn't mean that it's not important. So that's why I'm like, go fuck shit up, my guys. Like, go fuck shit up. Meaning that, and you guys know I'm very free with my throat chakra. but that's why I like to drop the F-bomb so much when I do. But one way that this could manifest itself is by joining a football league. Yes, for females or males going into football. That's a way that that anger can be expressed in a constructive way, by being competitive. That anger can be channeled in a way that you are competing with others in a way that is beneficial, and you're expressing it in a healthy way. Another way is to sign up for self-defense classes to protect yourself. That's the whole reason why anger reveals itself, is because it's showing you, this is the divine energy within you saying that a line has been crossed, which means that there's a boundary there, and it's up to you to realize that that boundary has been crossed, and for you to protect it for your own well-being, and also for the well-being of those that you are responsible for taking care of, whether it be the land, whether it be children, whether it be immigrants. You know, there's so many different things that it is that we're passionately connected to, that we will fight tooth and nail for, and that is goddess energy, but we don't like to talk about it as a whole, especially when we're talking about feminine energy. We don't realize that as a feminine, like as feminine energy, yes, feminine energy is more about receiving, but as a goddess, there is a rage within us that is okay, and that's natural. And some people have that more than others. So some people need an outlet, or multiple outlets that will help them to channel it, and that's okay. And some people don't have that you know, strong desire, and that's okay. So they maybe don't need as much. Another example that came through was kickboxing, and also roller derby. Roller derby is a phenomenal way of, a perfect example of goddess energy that is channeling rage, aggression, and competition in a way that is healthy and constructive, okay? So go out there and fuck shit up and make no apologies. Okay, and there's a last one, and I'm gonna cut this video off because I have plans to go meet with my goddess sisterhood over brunch. But anyways, another way this is expressing itself is those who advocate for those that are that need a voice, that don't have a voice. So that's and then follow again, like what the things that is that you're passionate about. That's another way that you can go out and fuck shit up, i.e. the system, and work to use your anger and use your passion and your rage in order to change and to rework and destroy and kill the system that doesn't serve the greater good of everyone. See how that goddess that works with her rage in order to speak out and to lash out and to destroy constructively works to benefit the greater good? That is a goddess right there, okay? So I hope that makes sense. I hope that makes sense. YouTube, please do not censor me because I dropped the F-bomb so many times. Sorry, not sorry. But if there's something else, I would love to hear how you guys are working this energy within your life, so comment it down below. And I would love to hear what you guys have to say as also as far as videos in the future connected to goddess vibes or other topics that you would like me to talk about. This one came to me this morning and I was like, yes, I'm going to talk about this today, and I'm so excited about it. So I dived into it first and foremost before I went out again with my goddess sisterhood. So that being said, I'm going to cut it off here and now. I send you guys all of my love. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.